Today we discuss the rules of sharing food.
Let's talk about that. Good mythical morning.
Thank you for sharing your life with us.
Is that a segue into talking about sharing food?
Sharing, emphasis on sharing.
Many a relationship has ended, many a bar fight has started because people don't know how to share food. People get offended, it's a touchy subject. I mean, this is how we live, sustenance.
And you have rules in your mind, but it's never established. So I think that's what we're gonna do now is we're gonna seek to establish the rules of food sharing.
Well, at least attempt to. I mean, you may take issue, but Link and I are kind of establishing some rules for our lives and us sharing food, and then maybe or maybe not, you'll think that these are good ideas. So let's start with a food that is often shared, nachos.
Okay.
Love the world over. Okay, the first thing I gotta say is, if you order nachos, you should know that what you're saying is, hey, have some nachos. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Nachos are meant to be shared.
Nachos are for sharing, write that on a shirt.
They're the same ingredients that come in tacos or burritos, but the taco and burrito creates a natural barrier that says, this is mine. I'm dividing up these ingredients with a tortilla, putting them in my mouth.
Everybody agrees on that, but it's how do you behave and.
Well, I'm saying some people order nachos and it's like, this is my meal.
Well, that's stupid.
I'm just saying, you gotta be prepared. You're gonna share those nachos when you order the nachos.
But how, do you suggest?
The first thing you gotta do is you have to match the pace. You can't outpace other people at the table. I'm known for doing this, I'm a big eater, so I kinda have to look at how often arms are coming in. And I gotta say, okay, I'm gonna wait for this arm, I'm gonna match the pace. The second thing you gotta do is you gotta alternate between heavy nachos and light nachos. You can't be the jerk that goes in for the middle of the pile each time. You do that, and then the next time you go back for the weak nacho, then you go for the heavy nacho. And the final thing is, if you see someone going for a heavy nacho, they grab a heavy nacho and in the process they pull other toppings off of other heavy nachos and like, oh, sorry, and all of a sudden they got a plate, slap their hands. It is totally acceptable to slap their hands, to point them out to the rest of the table as an example. Those
like
are the rules
grandma?
for nachos.
No, I think the biggest thing is don't be touching the nacho that you're not about to eat while getting the nacho you're about to eat.
Don't touch the nacho that's nacho.
Yeah. That's nacho.
Yeah, don't touch a nacho that's nacho.
Don't touch a nacho.
Put that on a bumper sticker.
French fries. Now, French fries are the most common non-communal food that people think is communal.
You're saying that it's non-communal.
No, the difference between fries and nachos is that they're non-communal. I mean, unless you buy them as an appetizer, so that's the exception. But I mean, if you go to like a fast food place, you know how somebody's always like, can I get a fry? Or they just take a fry? All right, here's what I propose are my rules. You must never take someone else's fry unless they offer.
Okay, good rule.
Never take someone's fry unless they offer. Rule number 2, you must never ask to take someone's fry unless you've been in a relationship that's been established for at least 6 months.
Okay, long-term relationship.
So if you're a relative, you can ask. If you've been dating for 6 months, you can ask. If you're a friend, it has to be longer than 6 months. You can ask, and they can say no.
But that gets touchy if they say no.
It is a little bit, but I think that's the rule, and I think it's on you. You have to be willing. You have to be ready and okay with a no, and that's the third rule.
Does this apply to baked potatoes?
Because you think a baked potato is a fat French fry?
Yes, exactly. That's where my mind's going. Because if nobody wants a baked potato, that's a way of saying this is my baked potato.
Can I have your baked potato?
You eat it like this, like a big French fry. Okay, I like your French fry rules. I'll go with that.
And sure, it applies to baked potato.
The last slice of pizza. Now I say this as a person who always, without fail, is the guy who wants the last slice of pizza. The first thing you got.
I want the last slice of pizza.
Oh, even you do. Even when you're full, I like to finish the pizza just to say it's gone. Even if I'm totally stuffed, I'm like, well,
it looks lonely.
Somebody's got to eat it.
It needs to be eaten by me.
The first thing you got to say, you got to know is if you want it, then you have to ask. You have to bring it up. The last thing you can do is just go for the last. That's a bad move.
Sneaky.
You can't go for the sneak takeaway. You have to say, hey guys, there's one. You announce it to the table. Hey, there's one more slice of pizza. Does anybody want it? at that moment, you put yourself out there. There's a risk. Somebody might say, yeah, I do. And you're like, well, obviously, I asked the question, meaning I want it too. That's when the counting game comes in.
Counting game?
This is what we do at my house. Does anybody want this slice of pizza?
Because I'm going to count to 5.
Locke says,
if you don't get it in 5 seconds, it's mine?
No. You'll understand in a second.
Okay.
He says, yes. I say, how many slices of pizza have you had? He says, 4. I say, I've had 3. And then I take it. Even if I had 5, I lie and I just say 3 and get it. No. So you have to establish, if I've had 5, he's had 4, okay, case closed, he gets it. If we both have had the same amount of pizza, then you can entertain splitting the pizza.
But what about taking into account size of the person?
That does not matter. Size of the person does not matter. I mean, you can't, it gets really complicated. What, are you gonna bring a scale to every meal? Oh, I'm taller than you, I weigh more than you. This is about how many pieces of pizza you had.
You don't wanna be weighing people to figure out who should eat.
The alternative method, equally valid, is just to wait for 10 minutes without saying anything, and at that point, you can do the sneak attack. I've done it before, nobody says anything. They don't care, 10 minutes, they're digesting, they've moved on to dessert. Last slice of pizza.
So how do you know, how do they know you've been waiting, you're staring at it for 10 minutes? Because you could just be sneaky.
Stopwatch.
So you've got a stopwatch, and then at the 10-minute mark,
your phone.
You show them the stopwatch.
No, don't draw attention to it.
I've been timing for 10 minutes, and that's why I now have the piece.
I'm saying I've studied humans long enough to know if you wait 10 minutes for anything, they've forgotten and moved on. Does not apply to baked potatoes.
Okay, I'm on board with that. Now I'm gonna move to divided candies. Now this is like Twix or Reese Cups, or Kit Kat. I don't know if I say Reese Cup, that's how I say it.
Reese's Cups, I think is technically, but whatever. I know what you're talking about.
These are deceptive because they seem like they were designed for sharing, but no, they are not designed for sharing. And I'm gonna propose that we apply all of my rules for French fries to these seemingly shareable, non-shareable candies as well, but I'm gonna add some stipulations. Obviously, you can never just take one, but you can never ask to take one of the Kit Kats unless you've been in a relationship for over a year and the relationship has to be in good standing. You can't be in the middle of a fight with your girlfriend and ask her for that because that's gonna put it over the edge. Gotta be in a relationship of good standing. Plus, you have to negotiate something that you give back at a later date. You now owe that person something because they've given you 50% of something that was totally theirs. There needs to
be a piece of candy though.
There needs to be a negotiation. It's kind of like loaning somebody
something. What if it's king size? You can't have a whole king size to yourself unless you're the king.
All right, 9 months.
You are the serpent king.
9 months relationship in semi-good standing.
Okay.
For a huge Kit Kat.
for a king size. Okay, the thing I disagree about that one is those candies, like the slogans have to do with break me off a piece. Like it's kind of like a shareable thing, but
it's just marketing, dude.
I'm not gonna try to take yours.
It's just marketing.
If I get peanut butter cup, you can have one of mine. Half of one.
But I'll owe you something.
Okay.
And that's okay.
And finally, ice cream. Ice cream is something that people share a lot, and it's typically done between families.
I don't really think about ice cream being shared a lot.
No, in a restaurant, you get like the sundae, and you start sharing the ice cream. Okay.
Oh yeah, I get uncomfortable.
This happens all the time. Families totally okay. A spoon for everybody. You all share. I think BFFs, you can share ice cream. It's not really that big of a deal, but not. Only exclusive relationships, not open relationships. So if you're just kind of casually dating somebody and you think there might be somebody on the side, you cannot share ice cream with that person. Ice cream sharing, there's like, it's so wet and nasty that there's like a saliva exchange that inevitably happens, and this is like a committed relationship kind of thing.
Well, I think you're dancing around something, but I'm gonna simplify it all for you. I think you're overthinking a little bit. I will propose that the only rule for sharing ice cream needs to be, if you're not willing to make out with this person, you shouldn't share ice cream with them.
What about BFFs, man? I ain't gonna kiss you, but I'll share ice cream
I
with
will
you.
not
As long
share
as you didn't have a herpes breakout.
I will not share ice cream with anyone that I'm not willing to make out with.
Okay, well then I'll get your own bowl for you. And the only thing is,
I think that's the best rule.
Once you are sharing,
don't you think?
Okay, it's fine. But if you're sharing with a group of people who agree they are gonna share.
You can disagree.
People agree who they are gonna share. At that point, it's like there's a pie drawn over the ice cream and you have to stick on your side. If there's a family of 4, you take a quarter, you do not reach into mama's ice cream, you do not reach into daddy's ice cream, you do not reach into little brother's ice cream. You have your ice cream, I don't care what toppings are on it, don't reach across the ice cream.
It's too heavy-handed. Okay, I'll loosen up a little. If you're not comfortable kissing them, not making out, like a relative that you would kiss, you can share their ice cream.
I kissed you through glass. Does that count?
Do you want to share ice cream?
No, I do not want to. I'm just trying to be consistent with my rules.
So if you'll, let us know what you think in the comments, okay? You can invent your own rules for different type of foods.
Thanks for sharing this episode with us.
And liking and commenting. You know what time it is.
We're the Mythical Beasts from Utah, and we're at MythCon 2014. And it's time to spin the wheel of mythicality!
It's Friday, and we've got an all-new Ear Biscuit. That's our podcast, and our special guest this week is Devin Supertramp.
He gave us what I believe the most surprising story we ever received in Ear Biscuits history.
Surprising, huh?
I was surprised by a story he told us. Click through to Go Mythical More. I have some blanket food sharing rules that I have yet to share.
This is apt. Link gets incredibly hungry.
Oh!
You okay?
Oh!
Oh, see something hitting you somewhere? Oh, you got a hernia?
No!
Appendicitis?
No!
Worms! Aliens! An alien's gonna pop out! An alien's gonna pop out! What? Then what? That's it. That's the only guesses that I've got.
I'm just hungry, man. Professor Link's 6 blanket rules to cover everything else that you could possibly eat, but it doesn't cover eating blankets, because who are we kidding?
What about pigs in blankets?
Nobody eats blankets.